Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all participants from wherever part of the world you're joining in. This is an EPBWN one-on-one interview with Princess Nwakego Ibrahim-Pam, and the guest for today is Dr. Bilkisu Magoro, a friend, a collaborator, a sponsor, a partner. I've known her for so many years, and we've worked together for so many years. So it's my privilege and honor to welcome Dr. Bilkisu Magoro Bilma to join me on the stage. While I do that, I would like to tell you a little bit more about the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International. This was a network that was created in 2013 in Tunisia as a support group for expatriate spouses who trail their husbands or wives to countries of that is not their home country. So we came together to be able to empower ourselves, build our capacity, make sure that our CV is active so that when we go back to our home countries, we've not been left behind by our husbands or our peers back home. So it has been in existence for 13 years where we have women all over the world, over 25 countries, women from different religious background, ethnic group, educational background, and we come together to share and exchange skills and knowledge. We also have services to cater to domestic violence, sexually abuse, and workplace abuse through our pro bono psychologists, anonymous. They don't need to know anything about you, but they will have you talk to you through the phone or any means you want to communicate with them pro bono, not paid for. We also have Legal Hand, which is a service given for abused women, domestic victims, in case they need legal support or legal aid to go through the process and the situations they are in. We also have so many other services. If you want to start a business from zero capital, that is what we're specialized in, because most of the expatriate spouses, because they leave their jobs, they join their husband in their various places of work, often don't have a source of income. And so that is a discouragement for them to want to start any business. But through the network, we've been able to teach them that businesses can be started from zero capital. You use what you have within you to start a business. And thank God for the word of that has started, giving the opportunity for not to rely on huge capitals to start a business. With a computer, with a phone, you can automatically start a business for yourself. So this is all about the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network. I am the founder and the chairperson, and we have different chapters. We have in Nigeria, we have in Ghana, we have in Kenya, we have in Abidjan, we have in South Korea, we have members in Philippines, in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Brazil. So we're all over Latin America, name it, where women who have benefited and are working with us every day to ensure that we meet the needs of other women like us. And since we started in 2020, we've opened our doors to any woman who is in need, any woman who wants to be empowered. And people like Dr. Bilkisu Magoro has been partners with us for years. She was a pioneer sponsor that went with me on very short notice to Ghana to go and open the chapter in Ghana. And since then, we have been working together. She has been on the many pro bono trainings and seminars and workshops we'll be having around the world. So today is my singular pleasure to welcome and introduce Dr. Bilkisu Magoro Bilma, and she's going to tell us more about herself as she takes us through who she is. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone on. And it's my singular pleasure to be on here with Princess Nwakego, Ibrahim-Pam. It's, as she mentioned, we've had a very long journey together with her, and fantastic lady, doing a lot all over with women, promoting women and getting women all started. She's written 2 books, which she just launched recently, her recent book. It's on Amazon. You have to give the name, Nwakego. You forgot that bit. Promote yourself. I try to get everybody to promote themselves as soon as they can. You got that bit off.
Yes, thank you. Okay, let me say that now. Let me add myself to you. Thank you, Dr. Bilkisu. I'm just not money oriented. Being this social entrepreneur has really spoiled me that honestly, I don't know how to promote myself, but I will do it here. I've just written a second book. It's called The Power of an Effective Leadership in Diaspora. It's all about the expert professional and business women's network, how I've been able to run this network from a remote location, how I've been able to maintain the different teams in different continents with different time zones, and we've been able to work effectively to impact the lives of women in different continents. So that's what the book is all about. So the book is very intensive, is educational, it's not fiction, it's my life experience through leadership, leading different chapters of the expert professional and business women's network in different countries that I've lived in, and my work experience with other international organizations and other financial institutions, university. I work a lot with university. Recently, the George Mason University here in Washington invited me to have a lecture for their graduate students, master's and PhD students on diversity and Orientalism. And that was such a wonderful experience for me. So please, the book is live on Amazon. Just click, buy a copy, and you'll be doing a whole lot to my work, because whatever money comes in goes to my work. I self-sponsor, and when I get full sponsorship, it goes straight to my work. I don't make money from the work I do on this platform. So thank you, Dr. Bilkisu Magoro. You see how I'm struggling, trying to get them to go and buy the book. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And the second part of the book will be coming out is a workbook that will help you actualize yourself, find your purpose, that will redirect you, that will give you the opportunity to rebrand yourself. It's an inner strength workbook. It's not just a workbook you can walk away from. As you work on it, you start asking yourself some eminent question: who am I? Where am I going to? What is my purpose? How do I want to change my life? Do I want to be financially empowered? So in another 3 months, that one will be launched, and it will be side by side with the main book. Thank you very much. So Dr. Bilkisu Magoro, this is what you do to me that I appreciate, that I value your friendship, that you're spot on everything that concerns me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. I think I noticed that as soon as she mentioned it, Amazon, Danny quickly went on to check. Yes, I know, because he's one of those that Yep, I know Danny has gone on to check. So with many others, please promote her work. Go to Amazon, check for the book. She in the chat, she put the details of the name of the book, and you get it on Amazon. Go through it. It helps with a lot of people that find themselves in new locations and trying to see how they can fit in, and how they can actually start off something on their own. So do go on there and promote her work. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Bilkisu Magoro. I'm going to be very, as I said, it's going to be very interactive. I love to have an interactive conversation with everyone. Born in Nigeria, grew up most parts in Nigeria, traveled quite a bit. Started off, with a lot of, I don't know, she said educational background and everything that I do. I'll just give a run over it, and then I would love to, just talk about myself, what, my journey so far of trying to, really establish who I am and, how I've gotten to where I am today. Basically, I started, have two lovely parents, of course, who I'm one of the fortunate ones to still have both parents still with us, by the grace of God. They're still here with us. So there's still a lot of, family work to be done now with the parents, having to, be with them and look after them. And so whatever journey I do take in life, I have to find my base back home. Then when I say home, I mean back in Nigeria, to make sure that everything is fine and I'm able to be with them as much as I can. I started from a very humble beginning with my parents, being the firstborn, and my father was in the military, and built up from there. Going up, went to a lot of different schools. As I said, being in the military, he was transferred to different parts within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. And so we were mostly like having our traveling bags. But while doing that, I went to some lovely schools like the military schools in Nigeria. And that gave me the opportunity to actually travel around Nigeria because he was sent to different bases in Nigeria. And so I went around and I've been able to explore a lot of the different lives, different cultures, and different ways that people live within Nigeria. Apart from that, I went to Hillcrest in Jos, which was a missionary school, and with that, that's why I got all my, religious background as in Christianity and getting the knowledge in Christianity. I'm a Muslim, but got all that and basically, believe it or not, as it was, I was one of the best students in Bible studies, the star students, getting all the stars and getting the gifts, So it's engraved that, and it gave me a broader view about what religion, the different parts of religion, and trying to understand religion as it is. And of course, that gives me, the leverage to actually understand where people are coming out when we discuss, things like religious, issues. And it's, I think the best thing for people to do is learn about the different religions, that people practice. It's not only just Islam or Christianity, Buddhism, and the rest of them. Try to learn and get more knowledge, and then you'll be able to, understand where people are coming from. So we can't all be perfect, but the major thing I notice is that we all have this belief that there's a divine God that we all pray to, and a divine space where we find our peace and where we can find some solace in ourselves. And that it could be through meditation, it could be through prayers. But when you look at all that, it brings us to a space where we're on our own and we can actually relate to that space and find our inner space as individuals and, inner peace from what's going on around the world. And that's what basically I've taken religion to be, but we practice them in different ways as it is. So with that, been going through the missionary schools and everything, I went to federal government college from there. From Hillcrest, I went to federal government college, and it was a vast difference, wonderful, but a beautiful shock at the beginning. One of those children, I thought, oh my God, my father hated me to have sent me to federal government college and everything. But I'll tell you, federal government college Jos, which is one of the unity schools in Nigeria, was one of the most impactful part of my life. And with federal government college, I learned a lot, about the whole culture of Nigeria. We were all very young children at that time when we went into federal government college. There was no bias. We just didn't, there was nothing about where you came from. And I'll tell you one thing, till now, I still don't know where some people come from in Nigeria. It wasn't necessary. We're young children. We all wanted to do was to unite Nigeria. We were taught what Nigeria is all about and how we can all live together as Nigerians. Religion was not an issue and everything. Until today, I have my wonderful friends from federal government college. Kego is married to one of my brothers. Adeze was there. Hey. Adeze was head girl too, in FGC. And it built us as individuals, strongly. It made us strong ladies. I was head girl. And a lot of us, that's where, I suppose where my leadership part was being identified. And I was made the head girl. And it's been wonderful. And that network still remains till today. Anywhere I go to in the world, I look for my federal government college students, my colleagues, whoever it is, anywhere. And there's this wonderful network. When we meet, you can never tell. You just cannot tell. And that was the dream of Nigeria. And it's still the dream of Nigeria. Yeah. When we all meet, and the first thing that we worry about is Nigeria first before anything else. And I look forward to that day. And that's part of one of my passions about being in politics and the rest of them. So my journey so far, has been within Nigeria. From there, I went off to school in England, did my A-levels. I was in Millfield and moved on to Warwick University. I was in Buckingham University. I did my first degree, biological sciences, which is medical sciences. Then I have my master's in genetics. And I thought I found it a bit boring. Sciences can be just stray. And a lot of people that know me would say that, I'm one of those that likes I just like being everywhere. I like the experience. I like to gain knowledge. I need to know what's going on. And most times when I watch the news, I really I couldn't, being a science student, it's either, black or white. And so the news didn't make sense to me. And a lot of things that were going on at that time in the world. So I decided, oh, look, I need to digress to another part, which is the social sciences. And that's how I went into the social sciences. I did the postgraduate diploma in management, and I went to do my master's international affairs and diplomacy. And I started understanding what was going on around the world, why certain things were happening. You watch the news, but you actually if you have a background knowledge of this, you would understand what's going on without, the news, because sometimes the news has been garnished, or sometimes it's been, inflamed, I'll say. But if you have that knowledge, then you get to understand why certain things take place and what's going on around the world. From there, I have my PhD in international relations, and all that, I'll say, has given me the chance to actually relate with people, my experiences with schools and where I've gone to. I've been able to relate to people not from my own point of view, but other people's point of view, and to be able to learn and understand, so sit back, listen to what people have to say. And then from there, I would, be able to say, okay, this is where this person feels, this is where this person is coming in from. Okay, so we have, I think you need to mute. Okay, that's great. Okay. So with that, over the years, I've been able to, start with different things. Now, when I'd finished school, there's this mandatory thing we do in Nigeria, which is the National Youth Service Corps. Now, with the National Youth Service Corps, part of the essence of that was to actually unite the same thing with going with the Unity School, which is the federal government college, is trying to get Nigerians to know themselves after that. And so when you finish university and work to serve the nation for a year, so you're sent off anywhere apart from where you're from. So you get to understand, what other cultures are all about. So I went back home, did my NYC in Nigeria, in Kaduna to be precise. I went, my NYC was more on the medical fields. And, while I was there, I noticed there were quite a number of things two things I noticed. I noticed that women really were not too very active, coming from where I was coming, after schooling and everything. In England and the rest, women were more proactive. Women were getting involved. I was part of, like the associations and everything, all the association. I partook in that, the African, community too. So I noticed that a lot of women, especially from northern Nigeria, where I come from, were not really participating in lots of the activities. And that was the time, this was like in 1991, 92. And that's when we had things like, we said that that's little bits of all this little activities of having, religious conflicts. And that was when the Zango Katap took place, and, a lot of activities took place at that time. Then the second thing I noticed was that while I was there, while I was in Nigeria, and younger, before I left home, there were family members, there were family friends, there were within the community, there were lots of, at that time, my age, that people that had disability, family members that had children with disability, but they don't bring them out into the public. We've had prominent people that had them. But the one you only get to see them when you go to their houses. Okay. And even when you do go to the houses, is when they trust you, you get to see the child. So we're privileged that we had very close, Nigeria is very close knitted. They didn't really have to be, my knowing a lot of northern people came later in life. I knew a lot of people because we lived in Lagos and the rest of them. So a lot of people, my sister was born in Oguja. I have another mother that it's, from Anambra. So you see, these are things that built me as an individual. I could meet, interact, and go into places. So we, lots of those people in the families later on when I got back home, they just seemed to disappear. And I noticed that, at my age, as we got older, we see less of these people with disability within the society itself. You just don't hear about them. You don't see them. They're not in public. Even those that were close to us, what happened to them? And that was another curiosity that came into my mind. But then the issue of women being, active was burning in my mind, and everything. So with that, I started a foundation on women
I
empowerment.
want to
And
stop you here so that
Mhm.
I can ask the participant to unmute and say welcome to you first before we go
Okay.
into the interview proper. So I want
Okay.
everybody to unmute and just say hello to Dr. Bilkisu Magoro, um, and we'll start the interview proper. Please unmute and just say welcome to her so she knows you're here.
Welcome, Doc. Welcome.
Hello. How are you?
Doctor.
Hello. Sorry, I thought we'd already started.
No, we started.
Okay.
That was the production. So now we'll be giving you questions so that you don't go into your
Oh, okay.
jobs without me directing how I want the questions to be.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
So thank you for such a rich background and historic facts about your growing up. I've known you for so many years. And that is why this interview is so important. I'm getting to know more details about who you are. You see, sometimes you may know people for so many years and you don't really know the core of the person. You only know them from the perspective where you interact and you work. By listening to you this morning, at least gives me names and places where you've been and schooled. Even though I'm a beneficiary of the FGC just platform as a spouse, I can testify to your goodness and your love. That's a powerful platform. You're doing well for each other and you're doing well for the communities that you affect. So, Dr. Bilkisu, on this platform, like I said, is to hear your story, your impact. So we want to hear from you with all your experiences and all your travels. How have you used it to impact, invest in women? And for you, you're a special guest for me. It's very few women in politics that I've known one-on-one like you. So I would truly want to hear from you as a politician. How have you been able to invest in women that are going to political arena?
Okay. Right. As you said, I'll just give you a brief talk about going into politics itself and everything. Um, I was the UN Women Face at some point in Nigeria, and we have meetings and everything. We're discussing politics at that time. That's when Nigeria had gone into politics earlier in 1999, and lots of women were not coming out, for elections. And so, this is part of the discussions when we have the meeting. How do we get more women to come out for elections? For those of you that know Nigeria or know a bit about Nigeria, I come from Kebbi State, and Kebbi State is from the northwest and the extreme north, and that's where the caliphate is. The Islamic Caliphate is. That's in Sokoto. Now, when we're discussing that, so a lot of women, we're not coming out for elective positions and everything, and getting themselves involved in politics. So with, how do we get women to join? And then so one of them suggested that, look, okay, all of you are sitting here and discussing it. Why don't you all get involved? Put your money where your mouth is. And we thought, okay. And that was probably, I would say, the beginning of saying that I decided, okay, I'll go into politics at that time and seek for an elective position. Now, I'll speak more on my own side, which is the northwestern part.
Thank you.
The northwestern part of Nigeria has, as I mentioned earlier, where I come from, it has an Islamic background, and the culture is one of those strong cultures that you have where there's very, women participation was also encouraged at that time. Okay, right, okay. Women participation was not encouraged that much at that time. So going into that terrain was very difficult. And from my own part, where Kebbi State, I went for elections for Federal House of Rep. Okay. And I'll tell you something, ladies, this is a story for another day. It was one of the hardest things I could have done, to myself. I thought it was something that I could easily just, relate to. But what I had to learn was a lot about the environment itself, which is totally different. Okay. And perspective about different things was totally different. One of those people that I'll say from where I came from was that even women were not too encouraged by having a woman being involved in politics. So having to get women to support you and getting the men to actually support your cause was a difficult issue. Well, I've contested 3 times for the Federal House of Rep in the National Assembly, for the National Assembly in Nigeria. And as of the last election, which was not 2015, 2019, I was the only female contestant for the National Assembly for the whole of the northwest of Nigeria, from both the most active political parties, which is the APC and the PDP as of that time. So as of now, since that time till now, we don't have a single woman now in the National Assembly representing any of the states from the Northwest. But I did try, and we have tried. Now, my coming out to contest elections has actually encouraged a lot of women from my place to actually come out to contest electoral positions. And so what I've been trying to do is getting women to contest from grassroots and build it up, and we've had a lot of women have come out for things like councillorship, participating, not the usual position when you say, a woman is just woman leader. And I'm sure you've seen the part where there's a state, I can't remember the state, so that I don't tell a lie, where a man recently was elected in the ESCO of a party. A man has the woman leader of that party in the state. And so that is being looked into. So why should we have a man being the woman leader when we have a lot of women? So generally the whole ESCO is just male dominated. And, when the parties have the elections, they normally just relegate woman leader to women. And that's what we're trying to say, that no, there are other women that are educated, other women that fill up other parts. We have things like the treasurers, the accountants, and the rest of them, where we can have it. And we're trying to do this one-on-one, where if there's the chairman is a man, then the vice must be a woman. Some states have to practice it, like Kogi State. Yahaya Bello did that, which is fantastic. And there's some other states that are trying to emulate the same thing. And this is all part of the struggle of trying to get women to get into politics and into elective positions and nominative positions. So if you notice, a lot of women have the number of women that were started off in 1999, the number of women in the National Assembly has actually dropped. We have only 4 female senators, and now they're trying to get rid of one of them. I'm sure you've all heard the story of Natasha. Very active young lady, doing very well, very, very well for her whatever. But then, if she decides, she comes up, then there'll just be 3. Well, from a grassroots, we've worked with women through the NGO, through my participations in so many seminars and giving lectures, empowering women, trying to get women to come up, build up from the grassroots. So building and getting them into these positions, has gone on. We're yet, I'm looking forward to having women senators from where I come from, the Northwest. And we've had a House of Rep from the Northwest, but we don't have any. They've disappeared. In the last, last 4 elections, we haven't had any woman representing us in the National Assembly. National Assembly, we have the State Assembly. We don't even have women in there. It's just Kaduna State that we have a woman. And that lady went to court. She won her court case and she came into the State House of Assembly. But if you look at the State House Assemblies too, we don't have women. That's from the Northwest. I'm talking from where I have more knowledge. Okay. We don't have women in the State House of Assembly. Now the House of, for the national, that when you come together and you need to represent your states and give a voice, we don't have a single woman in the House of Rep or in the Senate from the northwest of Nigeria. So that is part of the struggle, and it's my passion to make sure we tend to have a woman in there. We have another lady doing very well in Kano. She contested for the House of Rep in 2015, and she was the only female for the National Assembly that eventually got into, to go into the general elections. That's what I mean, to contest, but she didn't get the seat. So we have a long way to go from there, and we're working at it. And you can see I'm very passionate about it, because I really want to make sure that we need to have a voice.
Yeah.
Because when we have more women in the National Assembly, I think women can promote a lot, not just from northwestern Nigeria, but the whole of Nigeria. We need to have more women in the National Assembly making decisions for the country as it is, and maybe, would have more positive things coming on. But we can't have men represent. They don't know the way we feel as women.
Yeah.
So we're making these decisions without us, without the representation. And if before anything is taken, it has to be, they go by voting. So if you have in the Senate, you have 4 women, and all the rest, 100 and something are men. You can never, there's nothing of yours that can pass through.
Yeah, nothing.
Especially if they don't agree to it. So we need to encourage more women to build in, and then we have to find, there are lots of things that we're trying to, to introduce and to make sure that it's, implemented. There's this issue of having, 37% women in there, but it's not working. We have less than 5% in the National Assembly now.
Yeah. Can I say that women find it difficult to participate in politics, mainly because of the huge financial capital that they need to really push this aspiration through? Can you speak on that? When you went into politics, how were you able to raise the funds that you needed to get to where you were able to make that impact of even being on the ballot?
Now, finance is one of the major issue for women in the politics. When I went into politics, mostly I financed myself. I sponsored myself. Getting sponsors was very difficult. Okay. But I'll tell you one thing. We need as women to come together to support other women. And we need to generate a kind of fund where when women come, it doesn't take much. All we have to do is that, okay, everybody put in your little penny. Whatever you have, we have it. And then it's an idea of something we could do. But we have a basket, and then we know women from different parts that want to actually contest elections, and let's see if we could support them with little funds. But it's never enough. What I'll tell you, most of the men, what they do is that men come together, okay, and support other men, okay? But lots of this, even if you go into the businesses, most of the people making the money are men. So they're ready to fund and put in. Women as home builders, we really don't have that much money that would say we're going to contribute towards, other women winning elections. But now we're getting more women that are out there in the business line, women getting into things, science and technology. And we have to realize that you can't sit down and say, oh, politics is only for politicians. It's not only for politicians.
Yeah.
All women in the different walks of life, okay, those that career women especially, and those that are doing other things, must get involved, because whatever decisions that has been taken in the National Assembly affects the cost across board. So women have to be politically involved, as those that are not in politics, that's what I mean, to sponsor other women to be able to participate in politics. But finance plays a because the elections in Nigeria has become monetary. And even when you talk about, even amongst men now, it's very difficult for other men to penetrate. It's very hard for them. It's very hard. The only part would say that we got some people coming was that, okay, the Labour Party came in, brought in new people, because people just went in like that. It wasn't money, and it wasn't money involved. And so they, a lot of people were able to get in through the Labour Party itself. But for the old parties, it's so hard.
How can we go back to how politics was played, where it was more of ideology and conviction of what the person is able to do than this politics of money? And on the other hand, I just want to touch a little bit on the parts of the role of women in politics. I find it very disheartening that many women would rather vote for a man than a woman, even when they know that the woman is highly qualified for that position. I don't know really what is behind it.
So you've asked about 2 or 3 questions. Now, the money part, how can we go back to the way, things were, it's not possible to do that. You know why? Because now politics has become business. It's become business. Most people that will support other men to get into their positions, they do that and they're expecting something in return. It has become a money venture. Why? Because we have not created other things, that we've to make people work. And the amount of money that they make from in the political positions, it doesn't have to be their salaries and the rest, but it like opens doors for them to everywhere they can go and gets it, so they can make money off it. So it's very hard. So now everybody wants get rich. Yeah, they're more about getting rich than even serving the people. So it's more about getting in there, make what I can make. And some of them have been there, they just stay put. Some have been there since 1999. We need to create some change. We have to get young people inside. And I hope we have some young people in here. We need the younger bloods in there, new ideas, innovative ideas to move the country forward. So, that money part of it is going to take a while until the people realize that it is not what is given to them during elections that would help build the nation. Now, another part, the political parties. If you notice, there are forms for you to participate in, you have to buy the forms so you can contest under the party, because you don't have individual representations in the general elections. So you have to come under the umbrella of a party. Most of these forms are ridiculous. The amount is, then the average, the forms are so expensive that it's almost impossible for people to buy the forms. So now with that, in some parties they'll say, oh, we're doing something for women, gender issue, they'll pay only 50%. Okay, but guess what? If you do that and agree to that, and you go on and do the primaries within the party, contest with other men, okay, I'll tell you one thing, they'll give the position to the man, because they assume that you have not paid that for, do you understand what I mean? Or you're already at a disadvantage anyway. So the position will just be given, and then the man will be the person that go out at the general elections to contest the position. So until the parties reduce these funds to make it more competitive, okay, where you have other people, especially the young ones, can easily join. If you're saying that to contest a position, to buy the form in your own party, you're paying 100 million naira. Come on. So how much are you going to use for campaign? You have to buy the forms to do, and then you pay when it comes to primaries to you spend a lot of money in the primaries, towards the delegates so all that system, we have to get rid of that, because that's, by the time you're done with your party, you're even broke as a woman before you even go to the general elections. You're broke at that point. So, and then so a lot of people, men, will look at it as if, oh, it's a waste of time to even give a woman that. But then it just promotes the corruption that we're trying to fight, because if you spend so much money, by the time you go into the office, you're thinking of how to recoup that money first before you do any performance. So that in itself, it's the vicious circle of where there's a lot of money, the money involvement. But I think people are becoming more aware now, where that's when you come to the grassroots, when you come out to contest, people are becoming very aware. And I look forward to 2027. Let's see what impact that would do.
By the grace of God, I hope you'll be putting yourself out again and see what we can do now that we're learning that as women we have to come together. And for voting, we don't really need any woman to give us any bag of rice or Maggie. We should be able to go out to vote for our fellow women so that they can go and represent us in the National Assembly, in Senate, in the different governorship seats, and all the other powerful positions that women can occupy during elections.
I think Natasha, Natasha got her seat by going to court. They walked against her, but she went to court and she got that seat in, and they're trying to get rid of her too, out of there. But I'm sure she'll get back.
It's an uphill task for a woman to be a politician.
It is.
in Nigeria, but we won't give up. So I want to give the audience time. If you have questions or you want to say anything to Dr. Bilkisu, this is the time you can put up your hand and say or contribute or ask your question. Sure, Liz. After Liz, I'll go to there. Okay, go ahead, Liz. We can't hear you. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Congratulations, Doc. It's
Thank
an
you.
uphill task, but listening to you, I'm inspired because you're not giving up. It's a difficult terrain to tread when it comes to politics for women in Africa. But two questions. The first one, you said your father was in the military, or your father is a military officer. And I want to know, how did you cope with his position as a military officer and your acceptance in society as a military officer's daughter? Because my father was a judge, and so
I don't know how you tell her.
And so in the community that I grew up in, and my father can be in transferred, so I moved around a lot also. My friends had to be picked because as a judge, it's not everybody that my dad would allow into his house.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you? How did you cope with it? That's one. My second question has to do with the funding of women in politics and the women not wanting to put themselves out. I think first, women not wanting to put themselves out, as I have noticed in Ghana, is cultural. A lot of women look up to the men, so culturally they won't want to go and compete with a man. So even if she has all the qualifications and you want her to run for a position, she's reluctant to do so. Finance is the second aspect, and you have talked about finance. But what systems do women have in Nigeria where they raise funds to run for political positions? Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. With regards to, how did I manage to, as I told you, the military background.
Are you close so that I can remove? I have a thick jacket.
Okay. Can you mute? Can you mute?
That's what I mean. Can you close the curtain?
Mute. Who is on mute here? Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So with regards to, the military background, yes, it exposed me to quite a number of people, traveling around and everything and getting to know people. Of course, there was a bit of that restriction, but as I did mention that, we come from a family of large girls. There's 7 girls and 1 boy. Okay. And my father, I'm the firstborn. And I would say my father brought me up like a man. He installed a lot of things in me. There's so many things. I couldn't cry. all those things were there. He would say, don't let your enemies get to you. Do not bring out your defense in front of other people and things. So till today, I still have that. Somebody can hurt me. I wouldn't show it. I can run into the bathroom and do that crying later and then come out and wipe my face and so whatever. So that was all installed. But apart from that, he makes sure that the girls he empowered us, that we're all properly educated, to the best that he could. And all of us excelled in our areas that we were in. So that was, that was very, that he was able to push us. For somebody like me, by the time I'll say my father was a military man. My dad's retired now. He's an old person, when I came out and started doing all I did, I created a different niche. I did not go under my dad's umbrella. I created my own individual, Bilkisu, and everybody knows that. I did everything. And in fact, a lot of things I did were probably opposite to what, he would agree to. Like when I came out to contest, it was an issue, a big, big issue. I'll tell you one thing. When I came out to one of my elections for Federal House of Rep, and come out, done all my campaign and everything. And my father came out for Senate. They pushed him to come out for Senate. And you know why? to bring me down so I would get kicked out of the race. I refused. I went to the end, even though I went for the primaries, they trashed. I just created my own niche, a different way, to say this, my individuality, that this is Bilkisu. And that's what I've always worked on, creating who I am, knowing people, getting to know me as a person, not the daughter of. Okay. It's the daughter of, yes, I'm his daughter. I love him very much. I'll always be his daughter. But I've created who Bilkisu is. And everybody knows me as Bilkisu because of what I've been doing. And I've put myself out there. And I'm not, waiting to be, favored because of him. It's been rough. I've been to places that people, because of my surname, I've been trashed. I've been to places that say, oh, you again, you poor. But I'm an individual. I've gone through it. I've been stepped on. And there are cases where you go to, you're the best. I mean, for me, I think, I could have gotten that position. But because they look at my background, they say, oh, yeah, this person's daughter. So they give it to somebody else. Sometimes it works positively, sometimes it works negatively. But then I have built my own individual, and that's Bilkisu. And everybody knows me, and everybody calls me Bill more than the Bilkisu Magoro itself.
Yeah. So,
and then the cultural part, the cultural part in northern Nigeria, it plays a great role too, depending on what part of Nigeria. And that's why I told you that, like the Northwest, it's a major, like when I say caliphate or whatever, where I come from, it's Islamic, Hausa. And so a lot of there's been a mixture of religion and the culture. And so women too, they hardly come out. As I told you, when I came out, my father came out, everybody just expected, oh, Bilkisu would just drop. But I needed to push for women to see that they can contest. And I went ahead and still contested. So it's very hard. The culture is there and it brings us down a lot. But a lot of women are coming, especially this younger generation. They don't even care anymore. They're out there. I think it's the older ones that we're still, we're still working on eggshell till now. But the other ones are really out there and participating in politics. I hope I've answered you.
Thank you.
So we have Dad too. Yes, please go on. I'll unmute you. Okay, unmute yourself. Okay.
I'm amazed that living in the United States and to know that politics is so chauvinistic where males are dominating, and now to find out Africa is taking the same course of action as to really diminishing women in politics. I'm amazed. I mean, this has to stop. Women should stand up and tear that nonsense down, because we'll never get over it. I have no objection in a woman being the leader as long as she's qualified. I don't have to be the leader because I'm a male. No. Let it be the right thing because it's the right thing to do. So, I mean, I'm glad I listened to Billy and to find out what it is, because I remember when you were running, when I heard about that, I said, wow. I know I heard the circumstances surrounding the fact what was going on, but I don't blame you though. I mean, you got to be resilient, which you are anyway. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome.
We'll try our best to make sure that we're not discouraged. We'll put our best foot forward. I will keep asking other women to support each other, no matter the differences we have in our opinion. Okay, we have Professor Nkirika. She wants to ask a question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Prof.
Thank you so much, Dr. Magoro, for that brilliant presentation. It was so quite insightful, all what you've said today. Mine is a question, and also I try to get amazed that in the entire Northwest, as you said, there is no single woman in the state legislation. So it's amazing. What are you trying to do? Does it not call for do I say state of emergency? to get women. Yes.
Yes.
What
Yes,
do we
we're
do?
talking
What
about
do we do? What do we do? Are you trying telling me now that men, I'm sure there are up to 6, 7 states in that zone,
Yes,
no single woman.
there's 7 states.
Please, women should rally land. Not only women from that area, but women all over the country should rally, even internationally. Something should be done. And what is being done to start things from basis, like education? What kind of education can we start from that area? Because if the girls are educated, they could be able to stand on their own and say, yes, I want to go and represent myself. I mean, there need to be an intensive sensitization, education, and what is being done. That's my question. And not we are talking about not having a woman at all there, but we are still not having at the national having 4 women out of 109 is equally as good as not having. And as I normally say, those 4 women are even sitting with one part of their buttock. They are not fully allowed. They are being traumatized. Even the 4 women, the men are not even comfortable that we have only 4 women. So I mean, so what should be done? Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Yes, as I mentioned, there's one lady in Kaduna State, out of the 7 states in the State House of Assembly. And as I said, with her, she went to court and got that position given to it. She won in the courts for that position. There's lots of awareness, but it's not creating the awareness that is the most important thing. It's being able to be supportive from your own party, as I mentioned too. And because of the cultural, as we mentioned, culture, finances, being resilient in whatever you do. Women come out, they do. It's easier for them to rally, participate in the politics, but not to contest the positions. And those reasons, as we've mentioned, is something we're trying to see how we can empower them to overcome them. So it's a gradual process. The moment, women, as you mentioned, education, they're aware. It's not that they're not aware of, wanting to contest the position. What we need is empowerment. So we need to empower more women financially in their businesses and whatever they do, where they can come out and support other women to contest elections. It's been made so hard. I said buying the forms is so expensive, within your party. So that's where the hurdle is to start with before you even go anywhere, and then going into the primaries. So those are barriers that have been put in there that it's very difficult for women to contest in these elections. For things like councillorship and the rest of them, it's very easy to fund them. But when you come into buying forms, 50 million naira, 100 million naira, I'm sure you see them in the publications. This is outrageous. It's just outrageous. Even if you want to support women, how many women can you support with those funds? Okay. Yeah. And, as we mentioned, women, the issue, women, whatever positions they're in, it's very hard for them to have sticky fingers in whatever jobs they do. So men can go into a certain position, the same position where a woman is. They can make billions if they want to, but it's very difficult for a woman to make billions because she focuses on the work and tries to make sure that it's been done. And she tries to save in every way that she can, which is natural. It's an instinct we all have. But the men go there and they get in as much as they can and plan towards the next, the elections or the positions they're going in. We have few women that, they would come up and say, oh, but she embezzled money. Look at the population. If one woman or 2 women embezzled money, in that whole position, population, number of women in, the whole of Nigeria, or as they call it, even in Africa as it is, okay, look at the number of men that have done worse, okay? So we're not saying that there are no sticky fingers amongst the women, but the women don't go in there for that purpose. They go there to achieve what they've been, put into position to do. So getting those funds is very difficult. It's a gradual process. The awareness has been caused. That's why lots of civil societies to do women have been campaigning for women women participation in it, they say, okay, yes, go ahead, but go ahead. The doors are open. You don't have the money. You don't have the, and then sometimes for you to even, the moment your husband allows you to contest, if you're married or within that culture, if you're not married, depending on whatever, then you start contesting or whatever, they will find a way. They'll come back and, the same guy that is probably contesting against you will find a way. They will find his people who want to talk to your husband so that you drop you contesting, that position, so that the other man can go. It becomes the man's thing now. And, the husband will start withdrawing his support. Because if you're married, you need this. I think the most important thing when you're contesting election is the support of family. It takes you a long way. There's something to fall back on. If you go out into the world, and politics can be very, very nasty and terrible. So you need that fallback support. If you don't have it in the homes or within the family or your people that are close to you, it's very difficult to move on as a woman.
Thank you very much. So the next question was going to address breaking of the glass ceilings. So we can say in politics right now, the glass ceilings are very much in place. And so how would you, in your own way, how have you broken the glass ceiling in the Northwest where you've been contesting?
Have I broken the glass ceiling?
I
haven't broken the glass ceiling. I'm still there. But for me, I think, I've created a lot of an awareness. I've been able to talk to a lot of people, and we've gotten lots of women that are contesting. We have a lot of young women that are still coming out to contest positions, wonderful women, and we're hoping that they would, come out in the next election. But for me, at the moment, is to empower and see more women participation in politics, Northwest and Nigeria as well. We need more women. We can't, as she said, 4% doesn't even count. It's not even a drop of water, and it's nothing. It's just the way they move them. As far as any decisions that's taken, even if they're not even present, doesn't make any difference, because everything goes on with or without them being in there with four, as in the Senate and even in the House of of Rep. So more awareness, getting more women and supporting them, and building that foundation for them to know that, look, you can go in. We have that biases that when a woman goes into politics, the woman is loose, is whatever. That's one of the reasons I went in there. Then I said, okay, so I'm not, the women in politics are from very bad backgrounds. No, I went in there. I'm in here. So anybody can join. Come join us. So those are the things that have been done to make sure that, look, you can go in. And they say, oh, it's women, uneducated women. Okay, I'm here. And we need more. We need more of these women, educated women coming into politics. You just think because, I'm from this, whatever, politics is not for me. It is for you. It's for every woman. Every woman should join.
Maybe in 2027, I will run for the local government chairmanship.
Please do.
Of my little town.
Please do.
Just to see, and have a
Please
feel.
do. In the experience and everything. Please do. And who knows? You might just get it. You might get it, You will get it, If it's all the knowledge, if it's all the training, if all the women, we all have it. It's just getting into those positions. That is, yes. And then sometimes that they say it's you need a godfather.
No, not every
we haven't mentioned it. You need a godfather to get there. But then as a woman, when you have a godfather, what does it entail? It entails a lot. There are some that can say, okay, look, Kego, I'm going to support you to get in there. And you get in. He will do all the fights. The fights will be left to the godfather to do it and make sure you get there into that position. If, but then it entails a lot again. So now you're at the person's mercy. When you get in there, is what the person wants. Sometimes there's certain decisions in the National Assembly that you probably will not support it, but then you have to support it because your sponsor, that's what the person wants. Okay, so it's very dicey, when you get in there.
So I just want to let you know that maybe the glass ceiling has not been broken, but definitely you've put a crack to it. So as more women comes and put their pressure on it will keep the crack will start opening wider, and finally, at the right time, the glass ceiling will be broken, and more women will have access to political position and will be able to impact the communities where they contest their elections from. So now enough of elections and politics. I want us to go back to the core of who you are in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation for women. I know you've done a lot of work empowering women from your local government to Abuja, in different parts of the world. You've gone into entrepreneurship. So we want to hear from you as a woman in leadership. How have you used your skill as an entrepreneur to impact women and the kinds of innovation you've been involved in?
Okay, so one of the areas I would say is one of the shea butter production. I've been I've been on the Global Share Alliance for the shea butter production, and it's I was on the board, and with that is the production of shea butter, and this basically is to do with the rural women. So I represented the rural women, the ground pickers, and the processors of women. And you know, with the shea butter, it grows within the savannah zone of Africa across. Those are the areas where you just get the shea butter. And with that, with the shea butter production, we've been able to get worldwide, women, women having their shea butter being bought and sold all around. Being on the board, we've been able to promote to make sure that the shea butter that is that has been produced is being certified. So one of the problems we have with a lot of products that we have from Africa is that getting to ship them out as products, sometimes there's so many rules are put on them where we put that things like certification on those products and everything. And one of the questions we ask is why should somebody decide what the quality of our product is to be sent? We decide because we know the quality of the products itself. So those are things that we've been working on, trying to make sure that, look, our products, we say this is the right, this is the different grades, and this is how we're going to send them out. And we try to cut off like the middle people that you have to send them through and sell off this like the shea butter it is. So I'm sure in Ghana, because the headquarters is in Ghana, for the Shea Butter Alliance. Shea Alliance is in Ghana. And so a lot of promotions of the shea butter, especially within the Savannah zone, has been promoted. Grassroots women will make sure the monies and everything gets around to the women on the grassroots. Another part of the entrepreneurship part is creating awareness of women, especially pregnant women, to go into the hospitals. I said where I come from, a lot of women shy about going in there. Well, sometimes it's because of the fundings, access to these hospitals and everything. So creating awareness of the need to actually go to the hospitals when you get pregnant and when you're going to have the child, and supplying them with things that are needed. Now, promoting a lot of young girls to go into things like midwifery, nursing assistants, working in the labs. And so that promotes those girls, young girls, to encourage and pass on the message onto other women to go to the hospitals. The cultural part of it too is that because of the religion itself, getting access into these homes is difficult if you're a man. So when you have more women, young girls that have been trained in those areas, they can go into these homes and see women that are pregnant, women that need medical attention, and they can easily be taken to the hospitals. Okay, a lot of the work is done with like the elders, and when we say like the chief of the locality, you need to get a buy-in from them. Where when you do that, that way, if a woman needs the medical attention, if the chief says this is right, women should go to the hospital automatically to be done because the men would have to listen, right? So if there's something wrong with a woman in the home and this young nurses, midwives and nurse assistants can have access to those places, they can easily say this woman is going to give birth, because most of them, they still practice having the baby at home, which is, I mean, people practice that here too, but do they have the right amenities to do that? And if the baby is breech, how can the baby survive? You don't let the mother stay in labor for too long. The mother doesn't bleed for too long. And, those are the kind of things. And then, of course, part of it is discouraging early birth, of young mothers, and the issue of having VVF. So these things are very important, that if you don't want it to happen, go to the hospital, have the child, and if there's any tears or anything, it can easily be stitched as much as possible right after birth. So that, I've been involved in that too, trying to create those women, getting more women, young girls, to go into the hospital, into the medical background training, to colleges around, promoting them as much as possible, sponsoring them to see that they have that education too. That's part of the entrepreneurship, part of the women that we do that. Of course, I've helped a lot of women in my own little way to start up their businesses in different ways. This has been happening. We've had a lot of them that have done so well now so far. Started from basics, trying, most women get scared into going into business or doing anything in Nigeria. First, they think of funding, then they think it will not work. Then we start. I said, look, you don't have to start big. Start small, and we build from there, and then give them basic training on things like packaging and how you can registration, getting registered and everything. That's another process of that bit that has been done. So helping with the women, I think it's very important for women to be empowered on their own. You can be a mother at home and still do a lot, towards empowering yourself. You really don't need to go out nowadays to be out there, especially, like the kind of area that is conservative. So a lot of women will say, oh, but from home, you can actually do a lot for yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Going there, getting the schools, promoting all that. There's quite a number of, I think, I think there'll be a lot of talking to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you touch on your work with the special needs children too?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I think I started early on the special needs children when I was just discussing it. And I said, when I came back home, I noticed a lot of, they were not visible. I just could not see them anywhere. I became very curious, but then I just kept it on the side of the burner. By the time, after a while, I just thought, look, it kept on coming back to me because we have this family friend, very prominent. I think if I mentioned, all the Nigerians will probably know, he had a son that way, and it was just a limited number of people that could see. And then I realized that you don't just see them anymore. And then when I, became very nosy, I would say, I started inquiring about these children with special needs. Why is it we don't see them? And then, going to hospitals and everything. They say, oh, well, a lot of horrifying things, a lot of things like, when they get tired of these children, basically what they do is that, you just wake up one day and they say, the section of the house that child was in got burnt. The child probably suffocated and died. Or if you have those that, with the special needs that can walk around, they just leave the gate of the house so that the child just walks off and just, they just cannot find them anymore, just to get rid of them, especially when they get older. It's easier for the parents to handle them when they're young, but then it becomes very cumbersome and very tiring when the child gets older. I have another friend that at the age of 24, her son, she was still giving a shower and a bath and everything. So it's tiring. And, we must agree that the issue of the special needs children, if you have a child with special needs or neurodivergent child, it always falls back on the mother.
Yeah.
Within the African culture as it is, it goes back on the mother. The mother is the one that would, spend all the time trying to make sure that this child is being looked after and everything. We don't have the welfare that, and the support that parents should have for children with special needs. So some of them, by the time they get older, the mother is already exhausted. Really, she doesn't know what else to do, and some would just take them to the village And then they'll say at the village, the child just walks around and becomes a village, laugh that, and eventually they'll say a car hits the child or something, whatever, and they've gotten rid of that car. So dependent. And then the awareness and knowledge about what's, people's special needs are, I found out was that this, depending on the culture, in some part of the northern part, they will say, oh, there's a child that probably hallucinates or probably bipolar or something. They'll say, oh, the person has iska, has spirits or whatever. And then some would go to religious background. They'll take them. I mean, there's so many that we found out, they'll take them down to the basements of the churches and want to beat the devil out of them and things like that. So many things. Some they call them witches and they would kill them. So depending on what part of the, so with that, it's reignited my, burning desire to actually work with the special needs children, create awareness and getting people to understand that, look, they too have a life. And if we just try as much as possible to think and put ourselves into their own position, we'll probably, not trying to get them to be just like us. Why don't you try to come from their own perspective and view the world the way they do? Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember, of course, because when we discussed when that came up, of course, Kego, I got you and I said, oh, listen, this is that. We discussed, and then we had our breakfast, coffee break where we invited parents to come in and talk about it and, discuss what we could, and then open up the center, which has been on now for 9 years, believe it. And so we've been working with the special needs children. We've worked with over 85 of them, and we've trained over 1,800 teachers to be able to identify children with special needs or neurodivergent students within their classrooms and how to place them and, different activities they can do. So for us, we deal with we have quite a number of the older ones at the center where we train them into vocational training. I'm just giving a summary and everything. And we've been able to walk. And I think that's more of a passion, which gives me all the satisfaction I can get. I just, it's exciting. It's an exciting, another section of life, and it's very calming for an individual after all the wars all around everywhere, after all the politics and everything. You need to come back to, an area like that. And it makes you more realistic about life.
Thank you for all the work you've been doing. And just the last question before you leave a word of wisdom and encouragement for the people who have participated in this interview. I know that you're a single mother and you've been able to raise your 2 children. How have you been able to manage both your professional growth and your personal well-being? Can you just share with us? Because I know this is an area that a lot of women struggle with. And so for you to have been this successful and raising a kid and a home, raising children and a home, and also having a successful career, we want to know the tips and the know-how behind it all for you.
Whew. That hasn't been easy, has it? It never stops because I'm still until now, you're still trying to, raise the kids trying to support the young adults. Now they're all adults, everybody's working and everything, but it hasn't been easy. It's been a rough road, but I focused more. That's why I didn't go into the civil service or work for government where it was stringent to something where I had to be at work. I faced my studies. I looked after the children. I worked as much as I could. And that's so that I could focus more on the children while they were growing up. And while I was doing that, I was making room for a lot of but businesses and doing all that other, the NGOs and everything. But basically it's just time management. And you need to be able to focus and know what you really want to do with yourself. You have to decide.
For you. Somebody
Sorry?
said, let me read a message for you. They've been sending messages.
Yes.
From Sandra Olugu. Dr. Billy is one of those who encouraged me on my entry into the neurodiversity arena. Thanks for all you have done.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Good to have you here. So, now, what was I saying now?
Sorry about that.
Sorry?
I said sorry that I caught in.
No, that's fine. That's okay. I'm just trying to see if I could was it a
We're
question
talking
you
about
asked?
the juggling motherhood and professional
Yeah,
life.
okay. So with that, um it's been a handful, but then I've just managed. I'll tell you, there are times I was down and out. Okay, it happens in any way as it is. I'll give an example. There was a day I had to take my children to school, and I came out, my car, my car wouldn't start, and everything just fell on me. I couldn't get myself, it was just, I just broke down. There are those moments. And then, of course, having the support too, the family support have been helpful, even though when you say family support, um, it depends on the support that you would get, depending on the society too. Because in some cases, when you're single, a lot of uh, cultures, environments still frown on single motherhood. Okay, but I think depending on kind of relationship, when you're married, um, I'm glad I'm alive. I'm still here to tell a story. Okay, you should know when to exit. Marriage is not something. I'm not discouraging marriage in any way. It's a perfect thing when you feel you find the right person. Okay, and what actually decides the kind of life you live is the kind of partner you marry. Okay, if you find a very good one, who you're lucky. You find a supportive one, you're lucky. And while I'm at this, I think we all, the sad story that just happened recently, which is on Monday, while we lost the Pope. We have the sad uh, news again about a young lady doing very well politically, business wise. I was so proud of her. Okay, she was in an abusive marriage. Nobody knew. Okay, out in public, she's perfect, and that's one of the special assistants to the governor of Delta State, Simati. I don't know if those of you from Niger. It's everywhere. She was in an abusive marriage that killed her on Monday. So all that about her we've lost it. We've just lost that energy. And she didn't have to be in there. She never cried out. So, I mean, I encourage marriages as much as I can, but you need to come out when you need to. So it's a difficult, and so one of the reasons why a lot of women don't come out is because they don't know what the future holds, or they would say, "Oh, can I handle it? Can I whatever?" It's a rough road. It was rough for me. It wasn't as easy as it was getting to do the things I wanted to do. It would hinge your work, but if you're determined, you'll be just fine.
Thank you very much. So before she gives us the last bit of the interview, any more contribution? Anybody wants to say anything? This is from Ines. She said, truly inspiring. You have done so much for women. This has been such an interesting and informative talk. Thank you and keep going. I look forward to hearing about your future work as a politician.
Thank you. Thank you.
So anybody wants to say anything, and then Dr. Bilkisu, you have the floor just to give us a word of wisdom and encouragement to the participants and all those who will come across this interview as we share it on the different social media.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead, or are we waiting for someone that has to say something?
Okay. Is there anybody that wants to say anything?
Yes, I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Thank you so much. Leopoldina here, logging from Uganda. I
Nice.
currently call Uganda my home, but I'm from Mozambique. I lived in Abuja for 4 years. For 4 years, yes, with my husband and the children, and I had the opportunity to work as a volunteer for 2 years at the Mrs. Babagida place. She had passed away, but the office was still open, so I worked with some women from northern Nigeria, and I learned a lot. But I came to say thank you so much. Thank you so much. I never thought about contesting, but today you have touched something on me that if we don't take it, if we don't take in place in politics,
network. I think it's a network. Can you hear us?
We will not fear. Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
I can hear. Yes, so we should not fear. We should always strive, and we should always plan to help other women. When I was in Nigeria, I remember there were elections, and one lady contested to be a president, and she only had 1 vote.
Yeah.
I remember I was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes. So you have reminded us that we should support one another. A woman doesn't do it alone if we don't sponsor, if we don't support. So we have to support one another. Thank you so much. It was really insightful.
Thank you. I hope you contest very, very soon. I used to go to Mozambique.
Oh. Yes, the day that I will go home, I will contest. But even where I am, I'm planning to contest for something. I'll let Madam Pam know in 2 weeks or in 1 month time. Yes.
Oh, let us know. Keep us updated.
Thank you.
Please let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a chat for you from Abubakar Wamba. Congratulations for the women empowerment. The more the women are coming together, the more the opportunities across all levels. Please keep the flag flying higher. Thank you so much, Abubakar.
Well, Mr. Abubakar has been doing wonderful, wonderful things in Kaduna. Lots of programs for women. And yes, I must commend him. He's done a lot of things in Kaduna State for women empowerment and everything, entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Mr. Abubakar.
Thank you, Mr. Abubakar.
We need our male champions to champion our cause.
He's one of our he for she's.
Yeah. And we need you people to handpick us and put in the right political position. Trust in our judgment. We're capable.
Definitely.
We'll keep your money safe and your children safe for you. Thank you so much. So is there any other person that wants to say something before she gives us her final goodbye? Okay. If there's none, I'm going to give you the stage. Okay, Mafeng, somebody wrote, I really enjoy learning about your life and all your successes. Dr. Bilkisu, thanks for sharing some of your vulnerabilities as well. I have a question. Do you think Nigeria will get to a point where we could have a female president in the near future? Okay, that's from Mafeng.
Definitely. I mean, that's why we're training you. Hey, we want, we've been working on our daughters where you're reaching great heights and everything, going beyond what we've achieved. So we'll get to that point someday. But I think we'll work about trying to get the vice president. I'm not saying a woman cannot contest, but because of the environment that we're in now, it's something that we look forward to. Okay. Until we get the grassroots, build that grassroots of women that would help promote it. I can see Salvation is smiling when I'm saying this, but we will get there. We're going to get the vice president very soon, just as Ghana has done in other places. And then, okay, of course, like actually one of, which one of the countries now is it now? We were together at the Commission on the Status of Women, I think about 7-8 years ago. And yeah, she's a president now. And the same at the China Women Leadership that we did. She was there. That was in China, 2012, I think. She's now the president, Namibia.
Namibia.
Yes, she's the president now. So it will happen. We thought it would never happen, and it will happen. You know, for Nigeria, and then I think we've equipped our young ladies with a lot, and they'll be out there. We look forward to having the woman president very soon.
Thank you so much. We have the Salvation, Elubo.
Yeah. I want to say thank you. Well done for sharing with us. Thank you for being very open. All right. I want to commend the work that you've done so far. But I also want to say that you should keep running. And I think you should still do it, 2027. I think it's part of understanding the dynamics of the place where you work in, where you want to represent, you know the most acceptable party, not necessarily because the persons share your ideology, but because they have the most potent vehicle to accomplish the journey. In Nigeria, a lot of persons, a lot of times, parties are the ones that win the elections. And I believe that a lot of persons who are good-minded, who have visions for the country and for their constituency, mostly just go for the easier tickets, all right? And I believe that the journey is always a long one. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. For 2027, the race has begun. For example, the Atiku's running mate in the last election is today decamped to APC. The governor of the state, which has always been now APC. All right. I mean, today, like, while we're in this meeting, they decamped. All right. So
he did. That's what I was going to say. Has he decamped?
You say what?
I didn't know that he decamped to APC.
Yes.
The former Delta governor.
Yes, and the current one.
Oh, they did. Oh,
yes.
Wow. Okay, I missed out.
So there's a lot of you cannot predict.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cross carpeting, but as you study it, you just know the party that most likely holds sway for your locality. Okay. In the last election, we knew that irrespective of who won the center, that PDP was always going to win my own constituency, senatorial and House of Rep. So you know that the main election was going to hold in the primary, right? So you just go for the primary and see if you win the primary. So I want to encourage you to still do it in 2027. It's energy sapping, it's fund sapping, it's emotion sapping, but something I learned from Professor Patu Tomi is that you do not just run elections because you would win. You run the election. You go for elections because your presence in the race is going to pass a message to other persons, to your constituents, because in your manifesto are enlightenment of what they can become and what is possible for them. All right. So I want to encourage you. In short, I want to beg you to do it again in 2027.
Thank you.
I concur.
Thank you, Salvation. We're in a group together with him, the Patriots. We're trying to make sure we see that changes in Nigeria. We're trying to see the constitution being amended and changed to suit what the situation of Nigeria is all about. Thank you, Mr. Salvation. I'm a member of the Patitos gang too. I'm everywhere with Pat. Yes, I am. Yeah, with Pat. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. You know, you see the problem with that. You see the lots of I think for some people, when you know book too much, I think it becomes a problem. Do you understand what I mean? Yes.
I agree with you totally.
Yes. So now that's where we're having this problem where people can just cross carpet easily without the party ideology. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if everybody wants to, you see, I'm not saying I'll give you, let's use another party. Let's assume XYZ is the ruling party, or the party that in my locality would win, we assume would win elections, right? But I don't agree on their ideology or what they've presented to me so far. It has not benefited my people. It hasn't benefited me in any way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard for me to just go and join the party so I could just win the elections. Mrs. Salvation, and that's why I'm still where I am. Not that I could not cross party. I could not just go and I could have become anything I wanted, but it must
align.
My heart. It must, I too much conscious. I think, I just don't want to be in the position that I cannot help my people. I cannot do anything. I want to be in a position where I can help other people. Most of these people that are cross-carpeting, it's just to save themselves. It's not because of their people. Okay?
Yeah,
Some of them want re-election. Some of them want re-election, number one. Some have EFCC cases. They believe if they're in this place, it's like a safe haven for that period of time until the next party comes on, then they move to the next party so that they're covered, they're whatever, but they're not really doing the job that they want to do. I'm not saying everybody's like that. I'm just giving you an example of it, right? I would love to, I'll think about it, but as you said, it's emotionally draining, psychologically draining, financially draining. You give up everything in politics. I'm sure you know. You give up everything. You know, and there's nothing called privacy in politics. They would dig to your great, in fact, to the beginning of your generation, which I have nothing to hide. I mean, I've been contested, so there's nothing, it's out there on the platter. Then another issue that we face as women, the men don't face it. Women, where are you from in the Nigerian politics? You see, there are different scenarios. Number one, are you from where your parents are from? Okay. Or are you from where your father?
Where your spouse is from?
Or when you get married, are you from where your husband is from? Or are you from where you've been given birth to? My parents are from Kebbi State. I was born in Kaduna. I got married Adamawa State. So where am I from?
That's real.
That plays a role, because when you go, I went to Kebbi State, but then it didn't play off, I learned more of my people. I did that. But the environment that I grew up was more like the Kaduna environment, which is cosmopolitan, with people of different parts of Nigeria, different culture. So it was easy. I could relate with them. But when I went to Kebbi, I had to start learning to, it was just a different thing altogether. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So where am I from? Is it Adamawa State that I'm going to go to Adamawa State? I don't know anything about Adamawa. My husband is from Adamawa State. What do I know about Adamawa State? We've never lived there. He's just from there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So women have it very rough when you go into politics. And I'd rather contest in an environment that I've lived in. People have known me. If it's Kaduna, everybody just go to Kaduna and just say Bilkisu Magoro. Go to Jos and say Bilkisu Magoro. Everybody knows me. I'm like a bad rash. But when you have to go and reintroduce yourself in those places, so for women, it's very difficult for us. So after election, you leave the area and then go on to do, your usual business as you want to do. And it's difficult to go. For men, it's very easy for you. You just go back home. And, because of the culture, the male child is like the hair, the male children are the whatever of your heritage and everything. So it's easier for you, if you like, leave home 20 years, come back home. They say, the son of this and son of this. There's no problem. They already know, even by your face, that one looks like his father. As if he vomited him. Well, let's rally for him. His father this. But if you're a woman, you have to explain. Unless, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from.
I do.
You know? So it's very difficult for women, to contest, it's been made difficult for women. That's the honest truth. If I go back now to contest in Kebbi, it's no problem because everybody knows me. I've been there. I've been, everybody knows. I've been everywhere. They know me. I've created my something. But these are part of the barriers that you face. I've just given you different examples, and then going to just join a political party. You might join a political party that does not align with what your thoughts are. Just because you just want to win the elections. Most people from, and I don't want to be a legislator that would win elections in Kebbi State and then I'm in Abuja all throughout. I don't go home till next election. So, I mean, these are things that, we must look. I think another thing, women are more passionate in their politics. They put a lot of conscience. They put in this. Not that the men don't have it; they have it. But women tend to put in their hearts in in whatever they do, and I think maybe that's why we're easily bruised in the politics. And you think, oh no, I can't continue with this. But I'll try. I'm not making promises, but never say never. The show doesn't end until the fat lady sings, and I haven't sang yet.
Okay, so now I have to think where I'm going to contest. Is it in my village or in my husband's village? We have to
you see now. No, but you people know you a lot in Plateau, so you're welcome to. You have more. We have us in Plateau. We all rally around you. So yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It has been an interesting interview, just as I've imagined it to be. We don't have enough time to cover everything, but for the little you have covered, we're so blessed. You see, many women are looking forward to elections. Like me, I've actually really thought about it, even if I don't win, like he said, just to make a mark, just to make people know that we are available and we're willing to go the mile, we're willing to be involved in politics. So any one of you here that is in a position to contest, please contest. Winning is not the winning. Winning is just the beginning of breaking the glass ceiling, and we must try. And try we must as women to be involved in politics so that we can be in control of all the policies that affects us as women and our children. Thank you so much. And so we've come to the end of the interview. We would like Dr. Bilkisu Magoro to just leave a word of wisdom for us and encouragement. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And I'll just say that, look, the journey, whatever way you take it, is never easy. Everything in life is taking a chance. You're waking up and doing anything is taking a chance. But the most important thing is that you must find you as an individual. You must find your happiness, because you can't give what you don't have. So the first person you must think of is making sure you as an individual, you're happy, you know who you are as an individual, especially as a woman, okay? And your focus of what you want to do. Don't worry. I mean, you can see from my journey, I've fallen in so many places, but I've gotten up and I continue. So where you fall, you continue from there. Just take a break, but don't give up, okay? It's harder for the women, but once you're determined, you get there, okay? And always get the support. You need, we need a lot of mentorship with women. There's a dear friend of mine that's doing a lot of mentorship and supports for young ladies, and the rest of them she's not on, but she does, Bilkisu Abba, a lot of mentorship. And so we need to create this mentorship and this, being able to pass on to the next generation. Even though we haven't had a lot of women in, like in political positions and everything, we still can mentor them towards, going into politics and in different aspects of life. So you have to be determined. Be sure of yourself. And wherever you walk in, just hold up your head high, okay? And be confident. Once you're confident, other people would see the kind of person you are. Don't go in slugged in. Be comfortable with yourself and know who you are as an individual. Okay. So I wish everybody all the best. And I'm sure, yeah, you can get my details anywhere if you want the political things. I don't know. I was going to say I'll type it in, but Keo can always put my number. My number is, you can always get me on WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah. 234-803-313-9620 plus 234-803-313-9620. So we can communicate for those that want. And if you need any encouragement, and Princess Nwakego can always reach out to me, you know.
Yes, if you want to, oh, we have Yvonne here. So Yvonne, do you want to say something?
Hey, Yvonne, my Ghana lady.
I'm sorry for joining late, but I didn't want to miss, even if I could join for half a second to hear so I would. Thank you so much. I'm actually in the office and just wrapping up, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I didn't join." What an honor to have you online, our dear sister, Dr. Bilkisu, and yeah.
Thank you, Yvonne.
We go a long way, don't we? And
yeah, definitely.
Always, yes, and always nuggets of wisdom, nuggets of experience, and upliftment and inspiration. Thank you for being such a gift to this generation and to all of us older ones as well.
Thank you, Yvonne. You too. You've been very encouraging. Well done. I've been following you. You still look lovely and fantastic, if I must say.
I'm working on it. 61 and counting.
That's what I'm saying. You look lovely and fantastic. I love the pictures.
Thank you. Thank you. My two favorite inspirers in one location. Can't beat this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Bilkisu. You all can unmute now and say thank you to. Okay, before that, let me just give my last speech. Thank you, everyone. This is a wonderful interview. Thank you for staying with us. Today we stay a little bit longer because it's according to the speaker, you know. Once you are engaged with Dr. Bilkisu, the whole day is not enough. So I want to really thank you for staying to the end with us. Thank you for interacting with her. Thank you for when I call upon you to join in these interviews that you make time to join. They are very informative. They are very educative. And above all, I want you to know that these are connections that you can always tap into. So it's not only to come and listen to the stories, but we're creating connectivity for you across nations. People who we interview here are powerful women who can help you in your businesses or whatever endeavor you want. Like now we have somebody who is a guru in politics. Next time we have somebody who is a guru in financial institutions. Sometimes we have these women in different fields that we're bringing to you on a platter of experience for you to come and share, hear and interact with them. So I just want to say thank you very much to everyone that is here. So as a round up, I just want to remind us about the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International. We're here to work with you. Our main focus is we're non-profit, we're non-registered. It's just an international platform that gives you opportunity to present yourself. You can use the network to project the work you're doing. You can use the network to connect with other people around the world, over 25 countries in the world. You can use the network to start a business because we encourage members to patronize one another when your businesses are established. It's also a network where we can hold your hands to start a business from zero capital. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We do not, there's no fee. It's all pro bono. We work with professionals who are willing and happy to render their services to us pro bono. We have sponsors and we will work with you at every level that you are in. So please, thank you. And we're looking forward to working with you one-on-one. We're looking forward to working with you collectively. And so when you see our invitation, don't be tired. Don't say, oh, she's here once again. I'll be in your face throughout this year, since I'll be bringing wonderful women throughout this year to interview them for your purpose and for your interest. So thank you very much. God bless you all. You can unmute now and say bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
No, wait, hang on. No, let's not go. Can everybody please put on your videos your camera.
Yes.
And Nwakego, can you take a screenshot of everybody when we're all on?
Okay. So
for the whole, and that's for the group picture.
For the view, I go to gallery. Yeah, I got it. Yes, I got it.
So now get everybody,
yes.
Please
if
put
you
on
can
your
put
cameras.
Yeah.
So you can get everyone.
Yeah.
Manfen is off. I'll start calling you by names if you don't put it on. Mr. Abubakar.
Maybe they're not in a picture move situation.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's for the whole gang. Please come on.
Yeah.
Noilin. Hi, Noilin.
Noilin, just show your face or a picture.
Hello, Kate.
Okay. This is the first time look at Murphy.
Come on, everybody. Is everybody on?
Yes, Murphy is on. Can you see Murphy?
Oh, Catherine is on. Good. Yeah. Noilin, please come on. Yvonne.
Yeah. Everybody come on. Yeah, Kate is on.
Can you get everyone?
Yes, I can see everyone. Good.
There's a lady from Uganda. She's not on. I think her service. Mr. Wamba is not on.
Yeah.
We need the male supporters, the he for she.
Okay, yes. Abubakar.
Come on. Okay, great. Good. We want to take your picture. We want everybody to come on. Noilin, please come on. Yvonne, we have 3 more people to come on. Okay,
yes, I think we have just 2 of them not able to come.
So okay, so
my camera on. Okay,
you know it's not. We can't see you. Now we can see you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I think maybe you got the gallery picture. Can you get
it? Yes,
I did. All right. So we can all say cheese.
Cheese.
And we can wave out bye.
That's a good lesson for you. I'll start doing this.
Oh, lovely, Catherine. I can see you.
You can see me, right?
Yeah.
I joined late. Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Having me, Princess Nwakego.
Thank you.
Keep being a trailblazer.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, ladies.